Hi, Tim Yao here, Community Pioneer Roundhouse Park in Cringleford, and welcome to this week's edition of Cringleford Assembly. Whoa! Yes, we've reached that spooky time of year. I'm sure some of you have already got your pumpkins up and your houses decorated. So this week's edition is all about spookiness. Coming up, we've got a track to start us off with. It's by The Specials, 1981, Ghost Town. Enjoy.
This town is coming like a ghost town. Why must the youth fight against themselves? Government leaving the youth on the shelf. This place is coming like a ghost town. No job to be found in this country. Can't go on no more. People getting angry.
That was The Specials with Ghost Town 1981, and it was voted by the top 3 musical magazines of the time as the best single of the year. It painted a picture of urban deprivation, of urban decay, and of a world that was kind of falling down into a pit. It was a time where there was riots in the country all over in different urban settings in cities, a time of people questioning themselves and the validity of what was really going on in the country at the time. A time a bit like now, although we may not be experiencing riots, we are experiencing fears on different levels. Fears of, because it's Halloween, we're afraid of the dark, afraid of ghosts, afraid of ghouls and all things dark and creepy. But at the same time, we're also maybe fearful for our jobs or our security, our health, things that are around us that could be taken away. Fear is a strange thing. It can dominate our lives. It can take away our freedom and liberty. When we are suffering from fear, it changes us. Or normally we might feel we're a kind of a rational and a person who's got it together. Fear can take all that away. I wonder, what is it you're afraid of at this moment? When I was a kid, I was very afraid of enclosed spaces. So me and some friends decided I was going to conquer my fear, and we decided we were going to go caving. It was just 2 of us wandering around the caves. And that's when the fear hit me. Suddenly I was shaking. I couldn't think straight. My focus kind of went in like this. And I thought, oh no, I'm going to be lost in these caves. No one's going to find us. I'm going to die and I'm going to turn into a kind of a fossil. So I had a full on like fearful panic. And I couldn't move. Now the person that was with me, he did the only thing he could do. He couldn't get me out. And he says, I'm going to pray and we're going to just keep on going. So he prayed and we walked. But I remember just, we saw this glimmer of light, and that was enough, a slight glimmer of light, and I absolutely legged it through the tunnel. I was pushing and I was bumping my head and bumping my shoulders, and I saw the light and I pushed my way up and I pushed and pushed. It was really tight and I didn't care, and I finally got out and I popped my head out the ground like a little mole, and I was like, yes, I'm free. And that's when I realised I was in a field full of picnickers, and they were all staring at me with my muddy kind of face all covered in dirt. How embarrassing. It's a funny thing, fear, how we deal with fear. I wonder how you deal with your fears. Do you get friends to help you? Do you kind of dig in deep and come to your own personal reserves? Who do you look to for help when you are totally afraid? Now, there are some genuine things out there to be afraid of. We should be, if there's a big snarling dog lurching at you with its teeth bared, then, I think you should be afraid, and it's normal and healthy. It's a normal human reaction to be afraid of scary and dangerous things. But sometimes there can be things out there that can stop us from living and truly being who we're meant to be. How do we conquer those fears? There's lots of things you can do. Talk to people, get professional help. Cognitive behavioral therapy is great. I heard lots of people talk about how great it is, but sometimes there's just that inner, just deep inner scariness within us of whatever that fear is, whether it's ghosts and ghouls, failure, fear of missing out, fear of doing the wrong thing, fear of whatever your fear is. The Bible has something to say about this. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and self-control. Love, power, and self-control. That love is knowing that we are loved by our friends and family, but ultimately we are loved by God. And that's the base we work on. If we can stand secure on being loved and protected, then there's that. Then there's power. God can give us power to deal with our fears, that inner reserves, that energy, that courage to deal with the scariest things. There's been plenty of times in my life when I've been absolutely freaked out. But like in that time when I was stuck in those caves, I grabbed hold of God and it gave me the courage to keep on going. And then finally, self-control. We can do things in our life to put things in place. Little habits, healthy mental attitudes, take control of some of our fears. Sometimes those fears are just, are irrational, aren't they? We can be afraid of strange things. Some people are even afraid of beards or peanut butter or whatever it is. And those, we can laugh about it, but actually, if you're suffering from it, it stops you from living and really being who you're meant to be. So we can discipline ourselves, we can get help, we can overcome these fears with love and power and a bit of self-control. So the task for all of us is, how are we going to deal with those fears? I don't think I would have ever got out of that cave if it wasn't for my friend who kind of supported me and encouraged me and helped me get through it. I wonder if you could be a friend to someone who's in fear at the moment, whether it's fear of the coronavirus, fear of job loss, or fear of ghosts and ghouls. Can you support someone this week? And if you're suffering from fear, can you be brave enough to say, I'm afraid and I need help? Because when we do that, that is the beginning of the road to health and healing and well-being. Well, that's it for Cringleford Assembly this week. I hope you enjoy this spooky week of celebrations. Have some fun with pumpkins and doing the pumpkin trail. But if I don't see you, remember we're here Sundays, 10 o'clock on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Look for our next video. So I'll see you next time, post-Halloween. Have a spooky time. Whoa! Bye-bye.